Welcome back, everybody. Today I've actually got a perfume review for you. A little while ago, I saw a review from Henna at CanadianBeauty.com talk about Zara Jardin, and I was fortunate enough that I had one of my subscribers, thank you, Michael, send me some samples, and it included this very perfume. So I've worn it a few times now, and I thought I would do a little review for you. Ideally, I would have liked to have worn this over different seasons in different weather conditions, but I've mainly worn it over our winter here. So I haven't experienced it in warmer weather in spring or in summer, but I do have a feeling that this is going to be even better than my experience so far when the weather heats up. So this was released in 2021. The perfumer is actually Jo Malone of Jo Malone fame. And so she's done some perfumes for Zara, and I will talk about what I'm smelling here. Now, if you were to go to Fragrantica or Parfumo and had a look at the listed notes here, you would only see that they have listed bergamot as a top note, rose as a mid note, and leather as a base note. It is more than that. It does, sorry, I correct myself, not bergamot, grapefruit. But interestingly enough, when I spray this on, it is quite bright in a general citrusy, bright sense when you first spray this on your skin, although I can't really say that I'm picking up grapefruit in particular. I think there's a blend of citruses here, and for anyone that's kind of worried about too strong a grapefruit note, because I know some people don't like that particular note in too much concentration. To be honest, I don't really smell this and say, oh yeah, I really noticed the grapefruit here. So it does open up bright citrus, and I pick up florals in general along with those citruses in the opening, and there are hints of green notes here. What that is coming from, I'm not too sure. I would take an educated guess and assume that there is probably a bit of galbanum used in this perfume. So it opens up green, bright, more green than citrusy, let's put it that way, and slightly floral. What this develops into is essentially what I would describe as a bright floral chypre perfume. And when I was smelling this, my initial impressions and scent memory drew me towards another perfume that I've enjoyed over the last year, and I've only got a sample of it. I've actually toyed with buying a bottle of this particular perfume. I'm talking about Eau de Soie by Sicily Perfume. When I smell this, I'm reminded of that, but I don't think, I wouldn't say that this is in any way a clone of that. It's in that general style. It does dry down into like sort of this familiar chypre mossy territory. But what I would say about Leather Jardin compared to something like Eau de Soie, for instance, is that it's kind of a streamlined chypre. It's not as dense and intricate as those heavier chypre, or a heavier chypre like Eau de Soie, which is why I think that this actually might be a suitable perfume if you like that style to wear in warmer weather. So some of those perfumes are probably a little bit too heavy or dense to wear when it starts to heat up. What this dries down to is this really nice sort of soft, I think of it, this soft green light leather. It feels like a newer leather accord. It's not in any way has any of that bitterness that some leather accords can have, but it's also not too oily and dark like other leather accords. Of course, when we're talking about leather in perfumery, you've got a really broad spectrum of what you can get and identify as leather. I did make a note that there are aspects of this leather and that in isolation that actually remind me a little bit of the way the leather comes through in something like Gucci Guilty Absolute. It's probably I would say it wouldn't surprise me at all if there was a bit of vetiver in here, because there's a bit of earthiness to that leather. But I did note to myself that when I was testing this, that this is one of the few leather-based perfumes that are actually not more appropriate, but it's one of the very few, I think, leather perfumes that you can wear in a bit more heat and not just restrict yourself to colder months to wear. The longevity is pretty good, I would say, because I've had this on now I've had it on this hand for about 6 hours now. It's still detectable. I'd say projection is probably moderate to soft, because I can smell it on myself moving around. It's one of those perfumes that you pick up with, you might sort of not notice for a while, and then as soon as you stand up and move, you smell it. So it does sort of tend to react to your movement and the air around you. But I don't think, my impression is it's not a big projector. Now, given that this is Zara, off the top of my head, I'm not sure what it's currently retailing for, but you can be assured that it is going to be at a very reasonable price wherever you might find this perfume, because that leads me on to the next point. At the moment, if I'm doing a Google shopping search for Zara Leather Jardin in Australia at least, I can't find it anywhere. It's not available on Zara's online store for Australia. And I do believe, from what I'm told, that it's kind of, it's probably out of stock in a lot of places. So it might be dependent on what country you're in terms of where this might be available. But you can see the bottle design is actually really nice as well. I mean, I really like its simplicity, the way, the lines of it. I mean, that's always secondary for me. But I think Zara have done a good job. And I have tried other Zara perfumes in the past, and in the past, the ones that I've tried have gotten a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Traction on social media and YouTube, like things like Vibrant Leather, which when I first tried it was sort of like a little bit of a clone of Aventus. Other popular ones were those dark exclusive ones. I can't remember. Tobacco dark exclusive. I'll put a link to my review but Zara Leather Jardin has been a really pleasant surprise. So, given the price you can get it, and when it does become available, I would certainly sort of keep an eye out for a bottle of this for myself. And I especially look forward to giving this more wear when it starts to warm up, hopefully in a couple of months here. So I highly recommend wearing it or trying it out if you can find it where you are. But let me know if you have any thoughts on it, if you've tried it. I really, really enjoy it. It's a really interesting. It's a really interesting blend of notes. Like I said, they name rose as a mid note, but I get more general floral rather than specifically rose. The one thing that they list here that's constant and what I can smell is the leather that comes through a little bit later in the dry down, but otherwise it's a streamlined homage to chypres of the past, but made for a modern sensibility. So I can't recommend it highly enough. That's Le Jardin by Zara. That was my quick review, whatever quick means these days. But I hope you try it and let me know in the comments if you have, what you think. And I'll see you all soon for another video. Bye.